Besides, thanks, Nav. Best of luck to you.
Ah, finally, you're back. Well, how—
To be honest? No.
Well now, don't you all look disappointed? Don't tell me that your investigation came up empty. That was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce proof of their innocence. But don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you, my most
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic show incident is now in session. Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, could we please have Mr. Linney explain the trick?
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on stage. All the necessary items have been prepared.
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that case, I take your statement to be that you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began, and thus could not have committed the crime. Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady Farina, do you wish to refute his statement in any way?
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In fact, I'd say you were hardly in that tunnel at all.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you were inside your box?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that might leave an impression of any kind?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically everyone heard it.
Huh?
Hey, hang on. Something's not right here.
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box and I definitely heard the thud.
Look at those scales. Could those mean...
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician himself. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. Indeed, it seems his alibi can also collapse in the blink of an eye. Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my foundations are rock solid. Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
The House of the Hearth?
No wonder they did something like this.
So the serial disappearances were the Fatui's doing. Now it all makes sense.
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just an accident.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that 1 minute. Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent, after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. Unless your script already has holes in it. The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting and discord, Oh, good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off.
Hey, Linny, why didn't you tell us this before?
Order! Order! Mr. Linney, allow me to re-establish the facts. Lady Farina has raised 2 points. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and Ms. Lynette are both members of the House of the Hearth. Are these claims true? Please answer my question, Mr. Linney.
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
I knew it!
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the sentencing already.
What should we do now?
Granted. In that case, what is your request?
Is that really necessary? They're already as good as guilty.
The defendant deceived their own attorneys. What is there left to discuss?
Order! Order! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn. This trial will reconvene in 1 hour.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense even after knowing what you do now? You certainly have more professional. In that case, my dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to steep for a little while longer.
Well, this is awkward. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Paimon just knew where to start. We based our entire reasoning on the not to set the wrong tone.
I'm very sorry. I know you've but our organ.
Right now, we want to.
That's right. I knew if it weren't. That's why I did. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would. Right. You met a Fatu, but still.
Sorry.
Well, you both say that, but... Right.
Of course. We've been trying to. During our from that moment.
Is that what you need?
That's right. So after.
That air vent was created during the.
Well, what should have been that voicing on the way back. After that.
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Because of that.
That's the only way we can.
So, it was never. But like I said.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
Okay.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that if we want to refute the Hydro Archon's act... Huh?
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial. When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction of the events.
That took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention, at this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective. As the countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud. He did not realize that this sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house, which is why he claimed earlier that he could not hear the sound. Finally, he used the vase to knock her out, before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise, and caught Linny red-handed. So Linny proceeded to knock him out too before... Afterward, Linny passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before... And there you have it. That's the truth behind what happened.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady Farina's description of the events?
The key to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events, what Linny experienced, and what he saw. Seems this won't produce a particularly According to Linny, he left via the vent after entering the tunnel. He couldn't have had that altercation with Halsey. Linny went to the room that contains the Oratrice's core. This is the actual truth. Linny did not take part in the underground altercation. He only witnessed traces of the aftermath.
Attention! Ace Detective Paimon has... When the countdown started, Linny did indeed go into the tunnel, but he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where the underground core of the Oratrice is. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been an empty room. Since he felt something was amiss, the crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again. And in order to complete the magic trick, he did not remain there for any length of time. Finally, he reached the surface, and that was what... Paimon did it!
In other words, you believe that he knew nothing of the incident?
That's right!
My reasoning?
If that's the case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel, assuming that what you say is true, Linny...
Oh, they have a point.
That's right, you... Well, your denial is very strident. I'll give you that. Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box the whole time, how could he have not heard that sound? You're saying that he wasn't?
Are you sure we don't need to give this more thought? Paimon thinks there's some...
use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't Linny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant.
That?
Oh, is that so? How?
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did, and how he went from wood. No one entered or left the opera house through. It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. The deceased's name is Cowell. The sound we heard may have. It would have been tough for. Linny was not in the tunnel at that. The sound we heard may have come from a clash, but. No one entered or left the opera house through its entrances. It would have been tough for both. Linny was not in the tunnel. The deceased's name is Cow. Linny was not in the tunnel. It would have been tough for both. Halsey's clothing was in. Linny was not in the tunnel. The sound we heard may. It would have been tough for. No one entered or left the opera house through its entrance. It would have been tough for. Halsey's clothing was. Linny was not in the tunnel. It would have been tough for.
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble figuring things out?
I see how it is. So this was all just a bluff. And here I thought you had something to show.
Look, since we're at a dead end, why not consider a different, just like the trick as it transpired?
If only we...
Well, that would be nice, but and it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real live person disappear. You know, like you did from that water tank, Lynette.
Excuse my interruption, dear opponents, but do you not see that the crowd is growing impatient? There is no greater sin in this opera house than an
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time. The sound we heard may have come from a clash. The deceased's name. No one entered or left the opera house. The vase was not broken by chance.
Paimon gets it! Lynette, if there's a...
Just a moment, please. I do hope you know how how could a person ever be transformed into water? This is reality we're talking about here, not some magic. Must we really? I should think that of anyone. Your friend, magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection. But Halsey's disappearance is very real.
Even so, the truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of... Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much... But given that we aren't...
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their rope. The way I see it.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an impasse, I believe that additional evidence may help us make more progress. Guards, please step into the lounge and examine the personal effects of the deceased.
We are still examining the items, but we have already made critical progress that we discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's. The notebook in his backpack,
The primordial sea.
the note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs and that he had an accomplice. The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluid. One of these tubes, the notes also state, as such, we...
You gotta be kidding!
Could something so
Wait a moment. This reminds me of...
If people can become water, does that... Wait just a minute. Could that mean...
Demoiselle, wait! What about your pup?
Let's go.
Order! Order!
It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased's personal effects has yielded some surprising results, but we cannot yet verify the veracity of these clues. Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the understanding that Ms. Halsey has yet to be found. Guards, please continue examining the... Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence.
Of course. Thank you, Your Honor. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case is seemingly unrelated.
Right! Like the metal hut! Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that.
The water from the primordial... Now it seems like the hook... The deceased's name is... The rope that held the water... The deceased's name is... The water from the Lynette was in the I remember there was...
It's Ace Detective Pipe in the original plan. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, when the balloon afterward, Cowell would enter the but!
That actually...
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now.
Now, it seems like the only point of contention... His notes mention...
On that note, the guards have just contacted me indicating that they uncovered new evidence. I shall now invite him on stage to share it with us.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting the luggage of the other people and we found an identical
What?
That can't be.
Oh, I see. Well, how wonderfully comedic to have your own counter. Does this not clear all doubt? My dear citizens, my loyal audience, allow me to present my reasoning and bring this... Linny did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Indeed, he did leave the scene via the vent. Having made modifications to the props beforehand, his accomplice Cowell then caused Halsey to vanish using the water from the primordial sea. But upon his return, in cruel avarice, Lenny desired sole credit and prepared to do away with his partner in crime. Ultimately, he knocked Cowell out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up also became a murder. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously straightforward conclusion, it does seem that the famed Fatui is quite... Am I right, Mr. Lenny?
We've used up all the evidence we collected. There's no way for us to make a rebuttal here. Is this the end of the road?
Oh no! Paimon can't think of anything.
I think we've all seen enough now. And I believe this is indeed the finale. Now then, my good, noble Chief Justice, should we not, in your view, move...
Excuse me, everyone, but I must...
Miss,
Oh, come on. Don't be... I'll show you an What?
No offense.
Come on now, don't... But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again? And wouldn't such a trick come on? But, as the magic makers and stars of the show, I think...
I understand.
And voila!
Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So the whole thing about people dissolving wasn't...
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, I was hiding outside. I was just feeling... Where should I begin?
What? Why?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from... I heard that Lenny's show was gonna be a real thriller, but I missed it. That's how I make a living. But I was...
Hey! No wonder you look familiar! Liddy even mentioned that you were...
Well, and he even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. So I played along with... I wasn't going to take that lying down. There was no... I slipped out after...
Can a person even hide in there?
But I swear, I didn't know that the water tank would fall. Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a thief, but I'm no killer.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
This time, we need to tell the entire story from Lily-Ann's perspective. Seems... The strange sound wasn't from a fight. It was Lily-Ann's attempt to break out when she was frightened. The flower vase was not broken to cover anything up, but was smashed during the struggle between Lily-Ann and Cowell. Lily-Ann was afraid that she would be recognized if she left, so she changed clothes and hid, biding her time. Just what one might expect of an
And it's Ace Detective Paimon time! Having been selected out of the blue, Lily-Ann panicked. Her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. So she kicked the door open. Hearing the commotion, Cowell leapt into the tunnel, only to discover that Lily-Ann had not... He did not know that Lily-Ann was not from Fontaine, but was a thief who made her way in, mistakenly believing that the water from the two broke with no way of escape. knew that she would have to go through guard inspection if she tried to leave afterward. So, she has been trapped in the Opera House these last 2 days.
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So, she swiped 2 of them right under our noses. Talk about a sneaky thief.
At this point, all the events that happened in the tunnel have now come to light.
Ah, so that's the whole story.
Bravo! Bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina, do you wish to speak against the defense's statements? Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecution not leave the room before the proceedings have concluded.
What, are you reading my mind now? No, I have no further arguments. I admit defeat. But really, could you at least have left me with some dignity?
Wow, look at that! She's like a deflated balloon now.
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, I shall once again repeat the full sequence of events. The actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, selected his next victim from the audience reservation list. With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be chosen. To cover up any evidence while committing the deed, Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young woman was dissolved. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop and hide the watermarks. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Liliane was not from Fontaine and thus fled the box with a loud noise. Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Liliane. Thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect, he decided to proceed. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box, and thus became his own final victim. Liliane, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before hiding in other parts of the opera house. As for Lenny, he was in the underground structures within the opera house, and was thus ignorant of these happenings. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that Linny, the accused, is in fact innocent. While there is much in Linny and Liliane's conduct that should still be investigated separately, this case, at least, can be handed over to the Oratrice to make the final decision. As such, Linny and Lynette are officially declared not guilty.
Victory for Ace Detective Paimon!
Great work, partners.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation, Guard Vaughn. How did you find the water from the primordial sea in Linny's baggage?
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know. Or was that not a discovery, but false evidence that you dared to bring before this court?
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, but you, yes? I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to Coupon Town.
I was just following orders. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups said this was the best opportunity to do so.
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a liability to said higher-ups, yes? Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know, and seek the protection of the guards.
Yes, I'll tell you everything I know. Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration. We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent mora off it. The disappearances were also the boss's idea. I mean, this is the boss we're talking about.
And now he can no longer talk.
Such ruthlessness. I shouldn't have expected any less of them.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
So, we're just going back now? That's true, but...
Traveler, Paimon! Please wait.
Lenny...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even want to look at me. But still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end. Even after you learned that I'm a I guess. But regardless, I'd like the opportunity to set things straight. I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself, just plain Linny this entire time. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orphan like me. That's all. That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
The Knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth? She's your father?
That's right. And since we're here, I was wondering... Back when our parents first died, to survive, I took to surreptitiously observing I took my sister through several to my surprise, before long,
So you went from orphans to nobility?
That was how we felt at first too. But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent for magic tricks. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would then use to expand his social circles.
That doesn't seem too bad either. Better than roaming the streets at any rate.
It took a while for me to realize just how dark his heart really was. After one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not on the same return vehicle as me. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. I went to that noble's bedroom and asked him about her whereabouts. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift. I mean, you'll be able to perform your magic regardless of who your assistant is, yes?
Oh no. So he was gonna... But wouldn't Fontaine's laws deal with such people?
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption. I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person and hurried through the night. But by the time I leaped over the walls, all I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood. And the Knave...
So, she...
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several... Father, I mean, the knave, might have seen something in me. The House of the Hearth welcomes you. For I was hesitant, but she was also
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
She has gained permission from the Saritsa to first use the Gnosis' power when she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way.
So,
That's right. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some sort of water. Thus, everyone at Hotel Bouffe d'été, including the knave, has their roots in Fontaine. To us orphans,
so, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to...
it's all right. I understand. I just hope you can understand. If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me.
Bye, Linny!
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for...
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to Huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
Besides! And...
Ah, I see. Sorry.
Don't say that.
Aw, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too. It was like having... Wait.
Huh?
Well, anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up...
You don't have to...
Oh, wonder...
All right, then. Oh, don't worry.
In that case, I'll go order for us first. Please wait here a moment.
Ooh, everything looks so good. People in Fontaine sure know how to enjoy life.
Why, of course. Go ahead, try whatever you like. If the food's good, I'll make a group reservation for the rest of Spina di Rosula next time.
And if it's not?
Well, then I'll still bring everyone. Albeit with only one dish per table.
Yeah. Oh, we called this.
Oh.
Speaking of cases, do you think that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances will get.
Well, we've certainly taken a big step forward.
If it hadn't happened.
Right? Yet it was in such investigations, even the small. To be honest, I don't have high hopes for any follow-up that the authorities might. It's not that I don't. It's easy to. Which is exactly why the Spina. Those high. Let's talk about something else. Like, what are your future plans?
That's true. We didn't.
I've heard that there's a long.
Yeah, we've heard that she's super popular here in Fontaine. Guess that's speed.
Well, one way would be to infiltrate a performance troupe at the Opera House, only to abandon your act at the play's climax and ask to speak to her after the performance. I'm sure Lady All right, here's another. Fine, I can personally testify that this one works. When I'm sleepy, I'll do anything as long as I can finally get some sleep.
That might work, but that's not really the problem. The problem is we don't want to get ourselves arrested.
Ah, valid point. I overlooked that part. I was just thinking about leveraging a person's desire for sleep. All right, no more joking around. Perhaps you could... Oh, I don't know. Cut the line when she's on a break. You did defeat her in court, clearing citizens of hers from false accusations. False accusations she had nearly upheld personally. I imagine that she feels quite ashamed about the whole thing.
You mean that if we catch her while she's on a break, she might be too embarrassed to refuse? Why don't we give it a try after this meal? You know, strike while the iron is hot and all.
Huh? Paimon, did you drink my Fanta?
Was this your drink? Sorry about that. Paimon wasn't really paying attention.
No,
Alright. Honestly...
Is that so? If we're all finished eating, then I'll go pay.
Yeah. Can't you see Paimon's barely an inch off the ground?
Okay. As for expenses this month, we're left with...
Hey, Navia! What are you doing over...
Oh, nothing. It was just a meal, you know? Nothing to Spina di Rosula. So this is goodbye, huh? Well, if you do encounter any other trouble in Fontaine, you're always welcome to contact the Spina di Rosula. I'll give your requests the highest priority. In any case, I wish you smooth sailing. I'll see you again, partner.
See ya! Bye.